good afternoon to all of our guests here at the North American Bear Center. It's a little past 12:30, which means it's time for our Bear Broadcast Enrichment program. Enrichment is something the Bears where we present them with a challenge to cause some mental stimulation. In the wild, bears are constantly being mentally stimulated. Here in captivity, not so much. So we need to kind of make things up for them to cause that mental stimulation. That's exactly what the enrichment is designed to do. Now, we do these programs every day at 12:30. We broadcast it live on our website, so there's folks here at the center today tuning in, and then there's folks online tuning in. Now, we've been wanting to mix these things up a little bit, add some more variedness to them, and make them more exciting for the folks here and the folks at home. So today, we're hopefully going to get the Bears down. Again, it's up to them if they want to show up. We're working on getting them down. If they show up, we'll give them that enrichment. But we're actually going to talk about something a little bit different today. So I have one of our last ecology interns from the summer still holding on strong. Dee's still with us. She's the last summer intern to be departing, and she's going to be finishing out this weekend with us. And she wants to talk about monarchs today. So we have an awesome monarch program. So I'm going to turn it over to Dee, and she's going to talk a little bit about monarch butterflies and the program that we run here for them to help them. Here you go, Dee.
Thank you, Spencer. So as you said, today we are going to be talking about those monarchs. First, I want to talk about how we got started with this. As most people know, our founder, his name is Dr. Lynn Rogers. Well, his wife, Donna Rogers, is actually the one who got us started on our monarch program here. For those of you here at the center, you may notice there's a bunch of milkweed either below your feet or just outside that window. But we do also have another milkweed patch in front of the building next to the parking lot and our main sign there. And thanks to Donna Rogers, we got all this milkweed planted, and now every year we get to enjoy all the monarchs and monarch caterpillars. So with monarchs, not every generation goes, or every butterfly gets to go to Mexico. Only that fourth generation does. So we've been watching these caterpillars all summer as they go from caterpillar to chrysalis to adult. And finally, we are at the generation that is going to Mexico. So at this point in time, we are catching wild adult butterflies. And you may notice beside those milkweed gardens, we do have a little cart set up with some mesh containers that we have set up in order to house these wild adults. We catch them just after they come out of their chrysalis. We allow their wings to fully stretch out, but then they continue drying their wings in our little containers. And then a couple hours later, once their wings are good and dry, then we get some tags from monarchwatch.org. I highly recommend checking out that site, especially if you want to get into this monarch program and helping save these awesome animals. They send us tags every year, special little sticker with some numbers and letters on them. And they give you instructions on how to apply those tags, as well as some data that you have to collect so they can reach out to you once they get to Mexico to let you know if they found your butterflies or not. So today we do have 3 individuals that we have tagged. All 3 of them are male monarchs. You can tell on the inside of their wing, the males have this little black pouch, as it's called. And so we got them, we recorded data on them, and now we are going to release them so that way they can get some food and get ready for their travels down to Mexico. So Spencer here is opening the enclosure, and we're going to let these guys go out into our main enclosure here. So to bring this back a little bit to the bears, since this is the Bear Center, you may notice that, as I said, we have that milkweed up front here in the main enclosure. Now, usually it is my task almost daily to come out here, and I usually go checking for those caterpillars or adult butterflies. There we go. There goes one male off into the world. And here goes another. And we got one more. See if you can spot a little white circle. It's a tag on their wings. There goes our third male off to go. So as I said, daily, I come out here, I check this milkweed for those monarchs, and then relocate them to our milkweed up in the front lot, which visitors are welcome to check out, look, see if they can spot a few caterpillars or even some chrysalis in some of the woods surrounding, or in some of the plants right up by the building. The reason we do this is because the bears aren't quite exactly up to speed with the protection of the monarchs. So usually we have to go and help out just a little bit. So over by that creek, you may notice there's some trampled milkweed. Our bears, they do kind of like to play in that little area, so we do have to regularly check in order to help the monarchs out. Now, the reason why we do this is because since 1997, over 80% of the monarch population has declined. Now, that's a pretty significant amount. And so we want to help make sure that we're not losing any animals, that we keep these monarchs going strong so that they're here for years to come and generations to see. All right, I'm going to just walk around up here and see if anyone has any questions, whether it's about monarchs or bears in general. Feel free to ask. Anyone have any questions? Any questions at all? So we got a question on how old our bears are. So we're calling Holly Lucky currently. Holly, she is our 9-year-old female. And Lucky, he is 15 years old. So our two middle bears. We have one younger, that's Tasha at 7 years old. And then we do have one bear that's older, and that's Ted at 25. I got another question on how old do they live. Typically in the wild, we see them around 25 to 30 years old. We do know of a wild female that is currently 35 years old. They can live up into those 40s. So we do expect Ted to live a while longer. He does have some stuff. He has osteoarthritis. He had some mouth abscesses where this last winter he had to go down to the University of Minnesota, get some surgery done on his mouth. So we don't expect him to set any records, but we do expect him to be around for quite a while yet. Yeah.
So Minnesota has been experiencing a lot of drought.
Yeah.
So in this particular year in Minneapolis, we see a fair number of monarchs, but we haven't seen that many. My mom's garden, for example, we haven't seen that many. So have you seen any decline this year more than others?
All right, so we got a question if we've seen a decline in our monarchs this past couple of years because of our bad years for water. We are experiencing a little bit of drought, especially last summer. I wasn't around last summer, so I can't quite speak to how many they saw this year. However, this year we are seeing a little bit of a drop in how many we have found so far in order to tag. Typically, we average about 10 monarchs every year that we get tagged. Currently this year we just released 3, and we have another 4 that we're going to be tagging at the end of the day and releasing. So in my experience, we're doing actually fairly well right now. I know as the summer progressed, I have been finding less and less caterpillars, but that could just be that they're in different spots or the eggs weren't laid in our front patch like we've been seeing.
Does the milkweed is resistant to drought?
Sorry?
Is the milkweed resistant to drought?
So I got asked if the milkweed is persistent to drought. We haven't seen too much of a decline in it. We have actually had a lot of rain and water up here in northern Minnesota versus I think the cities has experienced less water than we have. So actually this year our milkweed's doing phenomenal. I know last year there was some problems with it, but we still had a good amount. They got quite a few butterflies last year tagged and released. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. So I got asked, what do our bears do during the winter time? So I've got a couple different answers there for you. So our oldest bear, Ted, he likes to use the chalets or the dog houses. We give him a bale of hay. He makes it comfortable. That's A-OK for him. Lucky, he's a little bit different. He still prefers that man-made structure. What it is, it's a cement culvert we buried in the ground. And Lucky, we put that in right when we got him at 6 months old. So that first winter he didn't use it, but ever since he kind of dug it out and made it all for himself. So that's typically where we see him hibernate. And then our 2 females, they do prefer a more natural setting. So we typically see them here in the main enclosure digging dens. Holly, as the older female, she is in charge. They have a matriarchal society. So Tasha, our younger female, she'll make a den, get all nice and cozy, get everything all done. And then Holly comes up and says, get out of here, this is mine. So the last few years we have seen Tasha right up front here in our rock den. It is one we kind of made together, but then the Bears made it their own since then. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, it still looks like we don't have any Bears down front. I think we're going to wrap it up then, since no Bears decided to come. Unless anyone has any last lingering questions about Bears or Monarchs. First off, I want to thank you guys for coming out or tuning in online. We do really appreciate doing these programs, as well as the Bears do appreciate them. They know the sound of this microphone, so they know if they come down, they get snacks, and they do love their snacks. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you all for coming today. And if you have any lingering questions, just find anyone in a red vest.